Okay, so what we're going to do now is draw up the project that we're going to make this year. First step is to draw a little rectangle which represents the footprint of the project. The project we're going to design is a jewellery box, and I will talk to you in class about why we've chosen the project. First step is create a rectangle. So R for rectangle, click over on the origin, click, drag, and in the menu we're going to type in the numbers 175, 280. That's 175 by 280 millimeters. You notice it's quite small, so if we use the shift key, so that's shift Z, that zooms in for us. Now we're going to isolate that by 1, 2, 3, triple click and then control click, make that a group. The reason we do that is so that when we draw on this, we don't want our sides to actually be glued to this, we just want to use this as a template. So, first of all we're going to draw the side here. So we're going to draw a rectangle. We're going to click on that corner there, R for rectangle, click, drag, and we're going to make that 175, 16. We're going to make it 16 mil thick because the size of this box, if we were to make it 19 mil thick, it would just be a little bit too thick and look too chunky. So we've reduced it to 16. 16 millimeters also allows us later on, if we want to, create some sort of shape on the outside of the box. And again, I'll talk to you about that in class. Now that I've created the rectangle, I can double click on that and make that a component. Now the reason I'm making it a component is so that later on when I copy this, all copies of this will be modified the same way I copy one of those. And that will be important when we're actually doing the drawing and the shaping of the object. But you'll see more about that and I'll talk more about that in a minute. We're going to call that the short side. So if we click off there and click once, you'll notice that the object's been selected, double click and it becomes an editable component. So double clicking opens edit mode and then using the push pull tool we can push that up to a certain height. In this case we're going to make it 105 millimeters. Actually, I've changed my mind. It's actually 90 millimeters, sorry. So type in 90, enter, and that's 90 millimeters. Now, if I take this object now by selecting it, let's click one, you'll notice first of all it's completely highlighted with blue lines, and I press the M key, you'll notice it changes around to a move icon. I click in this corner here, I hit the Alt key, and you'll notice a plus sign appear near the cursor, which means I've actually got a copy of that object, and I copy it all the way up and I anchor it to the other end of my rectangle. Done. So we have two sides. One is a copy of the other. Now if you notice, if I draw a circle on this surface here, it gets drawn on the other circle. If I push this through, it gets drawn, it pushes through the other one. All right, not that I want to do that, and we'll undo that, but that shows you why I've made it a component. Now I'm going to draw another rectangle. We're going to start the rectangle in this corner here, draw in that direction, and we're going to make that 280, by 16. Same again, triple click, 1, 2, 3, control click, make that a component, and that is the long side. Now when we double click and push this up, we can push it up and touch that surface there to make sure it's the same height as the short side. Now we've got that, we can now copy that. So selecting it once, hit the M key for move copy, select this bottom corner, Alt, and then transfer that to the other end. We now have a box. Now, one of the things you'll notice about this box is that the sides overlap, and this sort of shape here represents an area where both sides exist at the same time. Now, in real world, that can't exactly happen. But I've done it that way, and you'll see why I've done it that way shortly when we do the dovetails on the side. So we're actually up to that point where we're ready to do dovetails now. And what we're going to do is we're going to put some guidelines on the side here to mark out where the dovetails are going to go. So we press T for tape measure, We click on this edge there and it says on edge. And we come down and we go to this edge here and find the middle. We then do another one and we come down. Now note that the line connecting the two purples dot is blue. That indicates I'm going up and down. If I come out like this, it's actually not touching that surface, so that can be a trap. Make sure it's blue. Coming down, we're going to type in 8 millimeters, and from the bottom up, we're going to go 8 millimeters. We do that by just typing in the number 8 and hitting enter. We're also going to do another line which is 6 mils above the center and 6 mils below the center. So the reason I've done all that is that we want to come down 6 mils each side of center, so we found the center first. And normally you'd say, okay, 6 from the top, but because this is going to be a half pin, it needs to be slightly wider than 6 mils, and again, we'll talk about that in class. So we've now marked out guidelines on the side to position protractor lines which will help us draw the dovetails. We're only going to have 2 dovetails, tail 1, tail 2. So on the top. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some angled lines on here. These guidelines, where they intersect this line going down here, is going to be the starting point of all those guidelines. Now the guideline tool is under the tape measure 1 here, protractor. We're going to click on that. And you'll notice that when I put it on the surface, it turns the color. That's red because that aligns where it will rotate around the red axis. That one rotates around the green axis. That one rotates around the blue axis. If it turns black, it means that that surface is no longer aligned with any of the axis. That's what a black one means. So we're going to go onto this surface. So we're going to do red. I'm going to click at the beginning of the intersection of the vertical line and the guideline. I'm going to click once. I'm going to move the cursor along the guideline, click twice, and that creates a reference point. And then I'm going to move down and type in the number 7 because 7 is the angle of the dovetails. I'll do that again. I'll go up to this one. I'm going to click once at the intersection, twice along the guideline, and this time we're going to angle up 7 degrees. 7, type in 7 and enter. Again, intersection, click, handle, come down, 7. And finally, click, click, up, 7. So working from the bottom, we have 1 down, 1 up, 1 down, 1 up. And if we have a look on the side, we go to our views and look on the side, which is that one, I think. No, must be. Which one is it? Not the top. Oh, I'll use my orbit tool. If we have a look at this side here, you'll notice that it is symmetrical all the way down. Now, all that's left for us to now is to actually draw the dovetails. Now, the dovetails are actually drawn on this long object here. So we open that in edit mode, and we're going to use the line tool, which is L, and we're going to trace from there to there to there. Escape. We're going to trace from there, click, 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 escape, and then click, click, click. Now you'll notice I've actually gone through from outside to outside, outside through to outside, outside through to outside. Now I'll just move this around a little bit now and watch what happens now when I use the push-pull tool. Particularly make note of the other side. See how it's modified at the same time? So I'm pushing through and touching that back edge. Pushing through, touching the back edge. Push through, touch the back edge. Now why wouldn't this work? It won't work if you've done this drawing and the object is not in edit mode. So you have to make sure it's in edit mode. But now that we've got an edit mode, you'll notice that we've got dovetails not only in the front piece, we've also got it on the back piece. And that's because the back is a copy of the front in component copy. Now, you'll also notice that this piece here, which is an end piece, has the shape of the dovetails already drawn on it. So we can easily, we don't have to redraw angle lines, we've already got a line indicating where we need to draw a line. So we're going to copy the lines from the side component onto the end component. So we're going to use the line tool again. We're going to notice I've opened the end in edit mode. That's got the box around the outside. I'm going to click from there to there, from there to there, and now when I push pull, you'll notice it actually opens up and creates the pins. Move up a little bit, and line tool again, click once, twice, 3, 4, and again push pull. Now, not only did this component get edited, but the one at the other end got edited as well. But hang on, it looks like it's round the wrong way. The reason that's happened is because when we copied this, it copied the object as if it was just moving along. Now we want it to be a mirror copy of the other one. So what we need to do is need to select that, we need to control click, and we need to flip this along green. Now you'll notice that it's actually the right shape. Whoops, which seems that we do have an error. You'll notice that this one here is in the wrong place. So I think we should change that. I think we've got an error when we copied that. Let's have a look over here. Yes, we have. So I put a wrong line on there. I just need to edit that. So I'll double click on that again. You'll notice that I've drawn, or is it this one? This one here. I need to take a line from there to there. And I need to push that through. Okay, so that'll be right now. I made a mistake there. So in effect, what I've done is I've drawn the dovetails on the end of this one, the pins on the end of that one. These dovetails have been copied to the back, and these pins have been copied to the other end. Now, in as much as that is a mirror copy of this, it's the same for this back object. So if we select that now, and we do the same process, flip along, not green anymore, but red, you'll notice, you won't notice any change, but you will later on when we start modifying, putting grooves and things into that. That will be, if you miss that step, your grooves will be in the wrong place. So we've now got this corner complete. This corner we've got the dovetails but not the pins done. And this corner we've got nothing. So let's go to this one next. And what we're going to do is we're going to trace the tails onto this one, because at the moment it's only the pins that have been drawn. So I double click on this one, and you'll notice I don't have to actually use the guidelines anymore because I've already got a shape from the pin tail showing on the end here. So all I've got to do is trace that. 1, 2, up 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and finally 1, 2, 3. So again, by pushing these through, again, I made that mistake, so I better undo that. That's Control Z. That's better. There seems to a little bit there that shouldn't be there. I don't know why that's there. Okay, so that's better. So these are now separated. Now in doing this end, we've now got something to trace to complete this corner. It's this object we need to open up, and we need to trace the lines on the end there, from there to there. Need to go in closer, click, from there to there. Whoops, that one's incorrect. Click from there to there, from there to there, and from here to here. Push them through to the back. And we've got one more to do, which is the one at this end. Oh no, I think that one's been done. Okay, so we're complete. We'll leave this here at this stage, and I'll actually generate another video to do the next step. Thank you for your time.